Good morning, I am Rob Macauly, and I will be presenting as part of the Sterne-Lion colloquium. Sadly not from underneath an apple tree at Cambridge, but rather my basement. My heartfelt appreciation to all at Sterne-Lion and to Rebecca Phoenix, who sadly has learned that the truth of that new old adage that you can't teach an old dad new TikToks in a day. So thanks for trying that, Rebecca. And of course, special thanks to Professor Marsha Richmond. Professor, I hope this presentation doesn't turn you too many sideways stares of derision at the next meeting of Darwin scholars. My research goal was to shed more light on the role of Harriet Martineau in Charles Darwin's conceiving of natural selection. In 1798, Thomas Robert Malthus would publish an essay on the principle of population, and in it he would posit that human populations have and will, as a result of temporary surplus and man's tendency to vice, always outgrow nature's ability to sustain. The resulting situation when that surplus regresses back to its mean are the ugly corrective measures of disease and war. Malthus' essay would be cited by both Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace as being the source of inspiration in their conceiving of natural selection. At issue is Darwin's accounting of his Malthusian inspiration. In his 1877 autobiography, Darwin claims it was in 1838. Darwin would say, in October 1838, that is 15 months after I had begun my systematic inquiry, I happened to read for amusement Malthus on population, and being well prepared to appreciate the struggle for existence, which everywhere goes on. ... Here then I had at last got a theory by which to work. So, October 1838, Darwin finally gets a theory by which to work. October 1833, while Darwin's on the Beagle voyage, Darwin receives from his sister some little books by Harriet Martineau. Those books, Illustrations of Political Economy, volumes 1 through 3 from 1832, are tales meant to disseminate the works of economic philosophy with a focus on Thomas Malthus. Martineau, in her autobiography, would describe her book as, it was my business in Illustrations of Political Economy to exemplify Malthus' doctrine among the rest. It is this doctrine I presented. And so these Malthusian tutorials are on the Beagle's Library Manifest. The Malthusian nature of Illustrations is well documented, as is Martineau's association with Malthus. James Huzel, professor from UBC, actually wrote the book on the popularization of Malthus in the early 19th century, and he singles out Martineau as the obvious choice for an examination of attempts to popularize Malthus, even putting her, in the subtitle, Martineau, Cobbett, and the Pauper Press. She was, Malthus's bulldog long before Huxley came to Darwin's aid. And the book contains explicitly Malthusian tales that are set in different locations and under different circumstances, mostly throughout the British Empire. It is accepted by historians, this is something I've only recently found out, that Darwin must have been aware of Malthus and his theory prior to 1838. Darwin scholars Adrian, Desmond, James Moore, and Keith Thomson from Oxford all recognize that Darwin had to have known of Malthus and his theory. Keith Thomson would say in 1998 in Science Magazine article, indeed it is not credible that Darwin should not have been unfamiliar with Malthus's ideas. Have I said that right? And Thomson does so without any reference to illustrations being on the Beagle. Desmond and Moore only tacitly acknowledge pamphlets by Martineau, but don't name illustrations. Still, Desmond and Moore say, in their large biography of Darwin, Darwin knew the theory. With Martineau his dinner guest, how could he not? So it's that period from 1836 to 1838 that these historians are citing as being a period of social interaction that precludes Darwin's, Archimedes-like epiphany, with Martineau's presence acting as primary evidence. So if we take into account that Illustrations of Political Economy was on the Beagle, we significantly add weight to Martineau's role in Darwin's Malthusian education prior to 1838. Thank you, and hopefully we will discuss later.